So here we have a quite an interesting token. It was one that was amongst the largest projects in crypto. Extensive marketing campaign, and it seems to have had a somewhat of a difficult time as of late. I think looking at this chart, we can see that it had a tremendous 2021 and 2022, and so far has struggled to recapture some of that magic. But I think there's still opportunities for this. So this project, as you can see at the top, is DOT, otherwise known as Polkadot. It is a layer 1 blockchain, and it's a really interesting chart. I think if we look on the monthly, what can we see here in terms of things to draw on? So I think first things first, we put in our all-time high up here, and we've got an all-time low here, which is its release date on Binance. If I put this, so what can we see in terms of levels? So I think going up into the higher end of the chart, we can see that there is a really nice monthly level there. There is an interesting level down here and there, so 2 monthly levels. I think there's an interesting monthly level there. We have 3 candle closes next to each other, so if we put that there, I think there's another one there, and that's quite an interesting one. It encapsulates price action there and here. There's one below, but I think that probably is captured by that. I think those are the key ones, so if I just type in monthly there and do the same for this one, we can then look at the weekly. So zooming back out, so what can we see? So this area here where we have this period of accumulation before the breakout, if we go all the way across to here and zoom in here, we can see this monthly level. If we just gently drag that down to encapsulate those bars, I think there's an interesting weekly level there that we can have that constitutes a breakout. We've got another one here, Alt H. And this one, if we move down slightly, this monthly level here, if we move that down slightly, go back in. So what do we have up here? We've got a weekly level up here, and we also have one here, and we have one here. So going across, this is an interesting weekly level. As we can see, that was the form of a previous reversal. Going across, what do we have? We've got a really interesting level there. As we see this chart getting a little bit, there's one there, but it's I think it's a bit too close, especially sort of when you look at what we have already clustered within this area. So going back across, we see this here, I think this could move up slightly. Actually, if we move this one down, and then this one can come down and cover there, go across, and we can see just this period of accumulation. So if I zoom out, so you can see where we've had just this 3-year long accumulation with a few little breakouts. We see this sort of $10 level going in. What can we see? So I think there's a weekly level down here that we can have, and I think this one's important because this may be one that we come and look to retest. So let's scroll into the nearer term. So what can we see? So we can see, ignoring that previous element, we can see this has formed quite a nice range within here, within this sort of $3 to $4.08 level. You can see it's lost this level here, coming down to this area here. I think, what can we possibly expect here? I think this weekly level is really key to hold. If I was looking, I think you might be looking for a reaction in this zone here. As we can see, it's bounced out of there. So we can see that. And this hopefully would, reclaiming some of these levels, so moving up from here, reclaiming the monthly, reclaiming the weekly, should then open up a potential run to rerun up here. So I will put a marker down on there in terms of what we want to rerun. What do we have in terms of volume, certainly within this near-term time frame? So if we go from here across to here, what can we see? I think this area here is quite interesting, so I will draw a little box out. What else do we have? I think we've got a nice little box here. There's a little zone here that we've got. This patch here. And this patch here. So, possibly something there. And can see this here, so I think you'd be looking at taking some liquidity from there. This is quite an interesting area, so what I will do here is I will Alt-H and I will put a line in, so we see that there's some volume here that could provide a little bit of impetus alongside, we've got that one. Right, so if I take this off, so what are we left with? So I will change the colour of these boxes to grey. So what can we expect from DOT? So I think immediately you see this rejection here, failure to hold here, so I think you'd be looking for a reaction inside this box. You'd be looking for a push up, reclaim the monthly level, a push back up towards this weekly level, sweep some of this liquidity here, and I think once you were to clear this area here, I think you would probably move up to this $6 mark quite quickly. What about on the 4 hour? Yep, I think the pattern's pretty familiar. Compression here, some expansion, distribution, that little rally comes down. It's bounced just outside of the, it's only just wicked into the box, but I think it'll be interesting to see if this comes down and looks to take some more fuel from down here before it pushes up. But yeah, should be an interesting token to keep an eye on anyway. Yeah, certainly one that I'll keep an eye on.